We heard some strong words from Jim Harbaugh comparing the rookie wide receiver Ladd McConkey to you, Steve Smith Sr.
He reminds me of Steve Smith in the way that when he goes up for one of those contested balls, it's like they both had this ability and this skill to like almost look one way and then catch it just a few feet the other way.
I like Ladd. I think he is a fantastic route runner. Just watching his game develop, when I watched him coming out of the draft last year at Georgia, I really liked what he was doing. You got to remember, he played 39 games for the University of Georgia, right? 82 first downs in his career. Hands, he has some great releases, good game speed. He has 51 targets, 35 receptions, 440 yards, averaging 12.6 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns, 23 first downs. When targeted, quarterback rating is 113. He's forced 8 missed tackles. He's been in the slot 69 times, only been out wide a little bit below 30%. But what I noticed watching the football game with Ladd, they line him up in the slot. They move him in motion a lot, but when they do line him out wide, it's in a condensed formation. So it almost statistically puts him in the slot. But he's their number one wide receiver. Now, on record with John, our producer, I said, I don't think he's the number one guy. Watching the tape over and over and watching this morning, bro, they give him the ball a lot and they're featuring him a lot. He has that Cooper Kupp ability to take over a game, precise, sneaky good, and like Jim said, he reminds him of a Steve Smith Sr. So when I woke up this morning, just like the other day, I was like, man, when I got put on my outfit, I was like, oh my gosh, is this Ladd or Steve? Steve or Ladd? I mean, we look the same. You know what I'm saying? Built the same. Yeah. He's a little bit taller. He's 5'11". I'm 5'9", 3/4. But, only thing separating us is my earrings, and I don't have hair. That's it.
It made me look up a couple of things, Steve, because I do want to put this out there first. I'm going to say it so you don't have to say it. He's only 14,291 yards short of catching you. He's only 996 catches short of catching you. So the comp's right there. He's right on your heels in his rookie season.
Hold on. Can you look up my all-purpose yards, too?
19,173 all-purpose yards?
Yes, that's what I want to hear. See, a lot of people don't know Agent 89 put up a lot of all-purpose. 19,000. Wow.
I love the all-purpose. I just also think you're on a very, very short list, Steve.
Whoa.
I think one of your best accomplishments was 05. The Triple Crown is a tough thing to do.
I thought you were talking about my height.
Steve, you're on a short list.
Hey, bro, you gotta laugh at yourself, dog.
Okay.
All right, let's stay on. So I got a quick story before you go. With Jim Harbaugh was in Carolina for probably 2 cups of coffee. He was in there for a couple of weeks. Brother couldn't get on the field. We were 1-15. Had a number of different quarterbacks come in and out. We had Todd Light, Damian Craig, Chris Winkie, Jeff Lewis. I was not allowed to play wide receiver. I was just a special teams guy. And Jim Harbaugh and I were slicing and dicing the Carolina Panthers in 2001. We were running. He was throwing me routes. I was just on special. I was on scout team, just getting them boys right.
I think you're spot on. And when you say that the way this goes, I know the way Justin Herbert is wired. When he trusts you, what ends up happening? You get volume, man. You get a lot of targets. You saw it with Keenan Allen. When he started loving on Keenan Allen, it was just and you're starting to see that happen with Ladd. And I think it's the way kind of Herbert talks about him when you listen to him. He talks about how Ladd understands leverage, how he understands space really well. He trusts him in throwing some one-on-one type of balls. That's when you know a quarterback's really starting to trust you, when you're in tight man coverage and he's still going to throw you the ball. He's starting to trust you pretty well. It's going to be interesting to see them grow together, because I think the other part of this is we're starting to see a lot of growth in Justin Herbert. Remember the injury that he had that kept him out of most of camp, and he's been battling back with the foot, and now you're starting to see him get a little more mobile, can play off schedule a little bit, get out of some sacks. You're seeing him really, in my opinion, he's going to have a really, really good second half. And I think that's when you have young receivers you start to grow with, and it looks like him and Ladd have something really kind of growing. And I want to touch on the team in general. I just think this team is built the Harbaugh way. Right? They're physical. They run the ball well. The defense, Jesse Minter might be one of the most underrated coordinators in football right now. He's coaching his tail off on the defensive side of the ball. This is a playoff team, Steve. And I think Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston, and like their growth is going to play a big part in how far this team can possibly go, because I think they're a playoff team.
Hey, man, you talking about, you mentioned that guy. You got to throw in Joshua Palmer. This is a guy, right, a couple of years ago, I kind of thought that he was the odd man out, and he's really stepped up and really grown and shown his worth with this team. The other thing that I wrote about Ladd that I just remembered, I started.
Oh, hit me.
Consistent in his routes. You can depend on Ladd being at his spot. And that is crucial for a wide receiver, but it also gets you really comfortable with the quarterback because he knows if he's in trouble, who do I go to? Do I go to my speed guy or do I go to my consistent guy? And the consistent people are the people who get fed the most. They become fat and happy, a la contracts.
All right, before we move on, what I've seen from him, Steve, and I want to see if you know this element of his game or you see this evolving as part of his game. So far, early, rookie, he's been very good, as you mentioned, and broke down really well in the intermediate routes, in the short routes, in the middle of the field. We've seen hints of the explosiveness downfield. Is that a part of his game? We saw it against the Saints, the ability to get downfield, because that does open everything else up, specifically when we know the Chargers like to run the football. If you can have some explosive element to your game, do you see that being something that grows with Ladd?
His game speed is good, right? People put so much emphasis on speed that they don't really understand that speed does kill, but if you don't know the why and how to utilize your speed, then it's just a muscle card. But you have to know how and why you're doing things. When I look at Ladd, I don't look at his speed as far as 40. What I look at is how does he get from point A to point B? How does he release? Where and how does he come back to the ball? Does he make himself friendly for the quarterback? Is he quiet in the zone? Does he sneak in and sneak out? Those are all the little things that speed has nothing to do with. It's understanding why you're going there, understanding what the coverage is and what my role is, and also what are other people's roles in the offense as well. And when you start to do that, you can start to do things. And I just, I always love working with you because you make me think. So I'm gonna bring up this whiteboard again because I want to teach you a little cheat code on how to make the quarterback throw you the football even when you're not supposed to get the football.
Oh.
So there's a play where, let's say they're the corner. So you got the Z, and let's say Ladd's right here, right? You got a corner right here. Let's do a nickel, okay? And then and so say they have cover 2. So this is the play right here where you have like this, which is called delay, okay? You got a delay route. Now, how you cheat, and I'm just going to tell you how you cheat is, let's just say they're in free safety, and so we're going to erase that, and let me show you. So they're in cover 2. So you got the corner and the hitch. But let me tell you, when you know what's going on, when they're usually playing the corner, this corner will either have here or here, right? And the safety has over the top.
Of course.
But if they're in cover 2, the safety is going to be more on this side. So when you know what you're doing, you start to say, okay, we need a big play. It's 3rd and 5. 5 yards. Most of the time, people want to go to the corner. You want the touchdown. But here's what you can do when you know something. You can hesitate, which puts the inside receiver to go to the corner. I would delay a little bit, which means this corner he gets impatient. He's looking at me, but he's also, right, these are eyes.
Yep.
He's looking at the corner. So when I delay, he has to go with the corner, which means I delay, run the stop, quarterback has to throw me the ball because this corner is worried about the big play. And that's how, and I'm pointing that out to show you, when you understand how to manipulate a defense, and unfortunately, I'll say this quietly, manipulate your quarterback in throwing you the football, that's when you know you've mastered the craft of understanding how to be a number one wide receiver. Number one wide receivers aren't just about the catches. They know how to manipulate the defense and the offense to benefit them. But that means you have to study defenses and the whole offense to know, how do I get what I want?
Man, I love that.